Hey everybody, Chris Perillo here with initial reactions to the Sprint Evo 4G, or the HTC Evo 4G as the splash screen indicates. This would be the second Android device I've had the pleasure of testing, and I must thank Sprint for passing along this review unit. I've been playing around with it for about an hour or so, and I gotta tell you, my initial impressions are okay. It's not a bad device. In fact, it's extremely powerful, almost too powerful. Now, I don't really want to go in and start slagging the Android operating system, but you should know full well at this point in time about Android's Gingerbread update. Now, they're going to be working on that, and Google has already indicated that the user experience inside of the Android operating system is lackluster. So Google, will tell you that Android kind of sucks right now. That's not really their words, so I'm paraphrasing. I want to show you this. See that animation? Running along at about 5 frames a second, trying to illustrate how fast 4G is, and I happen to be in a 4G network area, not in, like, living inside a, well, I guess I am living inside since it's all wireless. When you first boot it up, you are greeted with a series of relatively geeky dialogues asking you to update this, that, and the other thing, which was kind of shocking. I mean, it was nice to be able to update the software and have these announcements pushed right in front of me, but it was a little surprising because some of the things it was asking me to update, I had no idea what the hell I was updating. Alright, so here we go. We're going to unlock the screen, but see, you can't really unlock it by swiping up. No, instead you do it by swiping down, even though there's no wording here, at least as of right now, suggesting that I need to swipe down. So I can keep swiping up, it's not going to do anything. Ah, there we go. Screen lock, drag down to unlock. Well, it should say that right up front. Don't ask me why they didn't do that. Usually when I see dots in this pattern, it would indicate that I could take that object and swipe it. So we've done that. We are defaulting to, this is the start screen with a nice big clock, the weather, currently geolocated to where I happen to be recording this video, and then the notifications bar up top, and I happen to love this about the Android platform, getting a list of the notifications. I've been tweeting out a couple of things about my reactions to the Sprint Evo, suggesting that it's not really an iPhone competitor. People are saying definitely a case of an iPhone being ready before its network, even more than the iPhone and AT&T. Oh, a phone. Sorry, I read that as iPhone. My bad. Some people are really curious as to what I don't like about the Evo. Well, I think it's very powerful. Absolutely. I think it comes with a wide array of options. So the Android platform and the Sprint Evo is chock full of fun for geeks. Absolutely. But the experience is relatively disjointed. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just one example. I'm going to go ahead and launch the marketplace. Now, I haven't actually logged in yet. It asked me to set up my Google account. Now, when I launch this, can you read this right up here, the headline? Setting up your PC36100. Well, that's a model number? But this isn't a PC36100. That's not what I bought. And I didn't really buy it. Sprint actually passed it along, to allow me to review it. My point is a consumer may look at that and say, well, what are they talking about? Is this another piece of equipment? What is this? I thought I was running a HTC, or I thought I was running an Evo, or a 4G. I thought I was running a Sprint phone. That's kind of cryptic. But this would not be the only example of where things get cryptic inside the platform. But like I said, the caveat is there's a lot of power here. Tons of power. I happen to love the voicemail. It asked me to set it up. I can be reminded later. If I tap on this voicemail link, I eventually figured out that this button here would allow me to respond to the voicemail without actually calling it back. I can record it, mark it as urgent, or mark it as private. Very, very cool, relatively easy to use. And when I say that it's relatively easy to use, that is a bit relative, because the Evo has 4 buttons on the bottom, and you can see they are flush with the screen. The issue is you can't hold the phone like this, because inevitably you will tap a button that you don't mean to tap, and then you'll be trying to drag yourself around to find the right place of where you were in the first place. I would have actually appreciated a hardware button, not a software button. But, gotta go with what you got. Another thing that was relatively jarring was the Wi-Fi feature. So I've got a closed network here, encrypted fully, here at home, and I was expecting that when I toggled this feature to turn on Wi-Fi, it would ask me to connect to one network or another. But it didn't. It just connected to Wi-Fi. Or maybe it didn't connect to Wi-Fi, it just turned on Wi-Fi. But I don't really know if it's really connected or not. Is it? Really? I mean, I'm kind of left guessing. But that's not the only place that I was left guessing. There's a lot of power here. But unfortunately, it's kind of a kludge to get through, and I'm a geek. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the settings, wireless and networks. Now you see on the side some are checkboxes, some are menus, or I guess icons that would indicate there are more options available. My first inclination is, let me try that again. My first inclination was to tap the Wi-Fi feature, and then it said, oh, turning off. And that's when I realized, oh, it's a checkbox. Okay, well, then I'll go into Wi-Fi settings then, I guess. Oh, turn on, okay, I gotta turn on Wi-Fi here, okay. Alrighty, I'm wasting time. So now it hasn't actually connected. So you see, it hasn't really connected to live.perlo.com. See how it prompts me with a password, which I'm not really going to enter in right now. I'm going to go back home and show you Wi-Fi is turned on, but it's not actually connected. Now, I didn't realize that, and that's kind of a shortcoming of whoever designed this particular experience, this button here. It just turned the Wi-Fi antenna on. It didn't actually connect to an access point, just one more step. Not exactly intuitive. Then again, the Android platform is far from intuitive. And you may disagree. You may, absolutely. You're entitled to disagree. It is neat that they at least give you a few options here to change your scenes, your views, and they've set up some other experiences here. Nice little analog clock. Haven't set up mail yet. There's a variation on the theme of dragging widgets around. I do like the idea of widgets here on this dashboard. Let's go ahead and switch to the default one again. I want to illustrate a couple of other small hiccups, but certainly things that add to an overall experience. If the label for an icon is too large, it will scroll off to the side. So right here you see it's Sprint Fu. I don't know what Sprint Fu does. I don't know if it's kind of like Kung Fu or something. I don't know if that like gives you powers. Sprint Football Live. Oh, error authenticating your device. Please turn off Wi-Fi and or 4G and make sure you have an active data connection. Then try again. I thought please turn off Wi-Fi and or 4G. Dude, that doesn't even make any sense. Hang on. Please turn off Wi-Fi and or 4G and make sure you have an active data connection. Dude, how else if you turn it off, how are you supposed to have a connection? Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and open Sprint Nav, fading into nothing. Sprint Navigation, okay. Do not input data record. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to read that. Okay, accept. Log in. What the hell am I logging into? Am I logging into the phone, the nav system, some kind of service? It doesn't. Oh, I accidentally tapped the home button. Ugh! It's impossible to hold this device because you can't hold it on the bottom or else it's just not going to sit right. And there's some nice things about this phone, and then there's some frustrating things about the phone. And let me just show you here. You would expect some smooth animations if you were oriented in this fashion, then you flip to this one. No, it just boom, flashes. Oh, look at that keyboard. It just jumps from left to right and all over the place and down and up, and they really need to work on the usability and the user experience with the Android platform. I do happen to like the fact that this Sprint Evo 4G comes with the friend stream, and I can add different social networks like Facebook and Twitter and Flickr and the like, and get updates right here without really having to install anything. That's cool. It's also cool that there's a front-facing camera, although there's not really a good application that comes pre-installed on the device that would allow me to use it with anybody. And I also happen to like that it's got flash on the back and this nice little kickstand that works, well, somewhat well. At least, you know, when, I guess, this application doesn't want to turn to the, there we go. I knew if I kept pressing buttons, then eventually I would stumble upon the right one. Kickstand's nice, the flash is nice, the camera is nice. Of course, it does record 720p video, which is also nice, kind of, but it only records at 20 frames a second, so that kind of stinks. a lot of options with the camera too. You'll see I can change between photo and video, adjust brightness and contrast, and change even filters. So some neat stuff, a lot of options, but just kind of buried within an interface that is kind of Sorry, Google. Still not ready for Android. That's just my personal opinion. And, I know there are a lot of Android fanboys, but look up Google Gingerbread or Gingerbread Android, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Google knows. Usability is a huge issue. So, they still have some work to do. It's a good phone on the Sprint network, and I'm going to be giving it a shot as a Wi-Fi access point, although I understand that it will take the battery life down to 1 hour in using it that way. Not exactly usable, but at least it's something. Chris@Pirillo.com is my email address. Geeks@Pirillo.com. Chris.Pirillo.com. You can follow me on Twitter @ChrisPirillo, or you can find me on Facebook. Facebook.com/ChrisPirillo. And of course, you can, certainly leave a response to this video with your own thoughts on Android and the Sprint Evo, but don't call it a competitor to the iPhone. Sorry, it isn't. At least not yet. So, until next time, you can tune into the live video feed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.Pirillo.com. We'll see you later.